Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another reaction. We're checking out RINGO, which means apple in Japanese if I'm not mistaken, by ITZY. Unfortunately, the captions are not available as of me recording this reaction 4 hours after the release. There's no lyrics available anywhere else, not the original, no English translation, nothing, unfortunately. So I guess we'll figure it out through this music video. Very, very excited because on top of an incredible comeback that ITZY had with Cake, the actual music video for Cake, the song Cake, was incredible and one of the most fun songs of the year. Bet on Me is one of my favorite music videos and one of my favorite stories this year. None of My Business was beautiful as well. But on top of that comeback that they just had, their Japanese releases are some of my most favorite releases by ITZY. Voltage is one of my favorite songs by them. Blah 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 is actually also one of my favorite songs by them. I just love the contrast that they have with their other stuff. They can be a little bit more darker, a little bit more action-packed. So I'm very, very excited to see what RINGO has in store for us. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, there's a RINGO.
Ladies and gents, put your hands up.
Hey,
Hands up in the air, high. Let's
hi.
rock. Bring me ringo, ringo, ringo. 야사시 애가와 서로 갱카이. 그치만 너
That was-
콜셋 모아 다시니 I wanna, yeah. 오지사마 오소.
I love this already. Like the switch up in the contrast with Rujin wearing the white outfit, but yet being transitioned into the black outfit as we're more than meets the eyes. We're not the pure souls that you think that we are. And then you see Yuna basically kind of like moving around almost like a doll on a platform. And then the literal clothes are exploding as it transitions to the real version of Yuna. So it kind of like throws it back to what I've been always been saying about idols, like they're not dolls. That's quite literally what this visual represents. And them in the gun room looking like a bunch of Tomb Raiders, Lara Crofts and whatnot, or maybe some Resident Evil like Mila Jovovich kind of stuff is really, really awesome. Like they are more than just like they're really trying to emphasize like that badass side of them, which I'm all down for that.
Put your hands up in the air, high. Let's
Hi.
rock.
Yeah, Leah. Damn. Cheon. God damn. Almost like a ballerina. Oh. Yeji. Jesus Christ. I'm not moving on. Wait, let's take it back. This is awesome. The fact that Yeji takes, much like in the Snow White book that the girl is reading, she takes that same shield and sword to emphasize almost like them being in white is like being fragile, and them being in black is them being almost like showing that they don't need the prince in order to be rescued. Like they can rescue themselves in a way. And there was like the visuals in the dark with them in black, and then you see all of the eyes in the background, which could be like haters and shit, and just the fact that somebody has always has an eye on us, and it's not always in a positive way. Unfortunately, this is really really fucking cool. Holy shit! And like, I wake up. Oh, this is so powerful.
Shoot for me. So I know one of my thing, but okay, I'm okay, I'm going. Listen up, 3, 2, baby, take those. 엄마마 고토 마지대 개코. 유미야키보, baby, 히토리 다 사가스 만의 고토. 전화의 오리지널. Oh yeah. 아야지리 닝교 미타이나.
Oh, that is so cool. This is kind of like Cake in a way, like everybody's firing at them, and Rujin growing out from the house that was supposed to contain her, as far as like the image that she was supposed to have of herself as a little girl, potentially like the little girl that was reading Snow White, and like the idea that you have to wait for someone to save you, when in reality you have to be strong enough to save yourself, kind of, and like take on whatever comes your way, and not wait for help, but just be strong enough as is. That's at least kind of like my interpretation of it. Again, there's no captions that I can really kind of like sink my teeth into, but we literally see a cake that says Ringo, which Ringo is the apple. This is almost like something, it almost like reminds me of Strawberry Cake by Extraordinary Heroes. Like, it's as poisonous, as much of a bullshit as it is sweet. So I'm not going to bite into it. Like, this cake is a representation of the apple that is just going to make me sick. So, and the apple itself is very, very sweet. A red apple in general is sweet. So, plus with the overall theme of Snow White and whatnot, it's really, really cool. It also kind of like makes me think of Wannabe. I want to say that it was it Leah? One of them was on the table, like throwing dishes around and like going all crazy as far as like wanting to be whoever I want to be and not what you want me to be and all that kind of stuff, which is also really, really cool. And like Rujin looked incredible, but Yeji in this lighting, and she almost like she goes with that sword and it creates all of these sparks. She almost looks like an anime protagonist or something. Damn. I'm not coordinated. I can't even do that. I'm writing. This looks like a legit action movie. Oh, come on, Yuna. Kill shot. Oh. Okay, top 5, top 3 maybe even songs. Did she call me a hoe and said hi, or am I tripping? She said hey ho, or something else, but it sounded like I'm a hoe. Thank you. Yeji is so beautiful. Cherry on Leo. I can't see you either. Sorry. I don't think that was a John Cena reference. Usually it's this, but Rujin is literally on a fucking white horse. Like, she is her own savior, like not needing a prince on a white knight, as you hear in the fairies, fairy tales, in the fairy tale stories, Disney movies and shit. You know what I'm talking about. It's really, really cool. Interesting. Biting the apple here, and the fact that it's almost like a garden of, it almost like feels biblical in a way. So it's almost like maybe there's like a double entendre as far as like going for what is forbidden. So the apple is not just poisonous, but it's also something that I want to take a bite off. So bring me the apple, bring me the Ringo. So maybe there's a double entendre there, because I want to go for what is forbidden, basically. Awesome. Wanna be free? Yeah, maybe. Damn. I can't. That high note, like, this is one of their best choruses, 100%. This is one of their best songs. Japanese, it doesn't matter which one. General, ITZY songs. It's top 3 for me, I think. Oh, don't look at me like that. Oh, I cannot see you. And of course, with the crown at the end. It's my scenario. Okay. So they changed the story. I really love this music video. And the one thing that I do want to touch on, them rewriting the story of Snow White through their own experiences, because there was no one to save them. They had to save themselves. The room, the bunker, the war room that they're in with all of the guns, where everyone is firing at them and the arrows crack the shield and all. And then they are literally working together to move some kind of a rock or something in order to get out from the bunker, I'm guessing. It showed the fact that ITZY had to do everything by themselves. They didn't have the option to wait for anyone to save them. They had to be strong enough to save themselves, which is a representation of their entire like history and whatnot. Like a song like Bet on Me, for example, they had to be strong for themselves, for each other. And something like Cake, which also had visuals of like babies firing shots at them, which is almost like the crybabies, the haters that just constantly taking shots at you, but much like a stormtrooper, are missing constantly. Here, the shots represent like their own fucking struggles. Whereas in Cake, it was in a more comical way, but it's still kind of like serious, because people just take any opportunity to take shots at ITZY, and the fact that they all miss because ITZY still comes back, they still are strong, they're still together, everything is still working. Mitzi are still there and protecting them. Like, that was a representation of the fact that no matter what shots you take, you're going to miss. Here, it's a little bit more serious because some of those shots actually crack that shield and whatnot, and the war room is basically compromised, and they had to save themselves and not wait for a prince or a shining white knight with a fucking white horse. Rujin had to be her own savior on the white horse, which is also kind of like, it throws me back to Snow White and the Huntsman with Kristen Stewart and Charlize Theron. I really like Kristen Stewart, but Charlize Theron is one of the most beautiful women on the face of the earth. So that was an interesting dynamic. But the actual movie, like, she was literally the warrior on the white horse. So Rujin kind of like represented that in a way. So the fact that ITZY took the story of Snow White and adapted it to a story that required them to be strong by themselves and not wait for anyone to save them is really, really amazing. The visuals here were absolutely incredible. So it's one of the most visually intriguing music videos by ITZY that I think I've checked out. It's one of the most beautiful music videos, and just in general, I really, really love the storyline here. I love the fact that knowing the history of ITZY or some of the history of ITZY and their struggles, this doesn't feel forced, as if like, be your own hero, don't wait for someone to save you, don't wait for a man to save you. It was like, we struggled and we had to be strong, otherwise we would fail. Yeji taking the bite and all of them reaching for the apple, it really makes me feel like there's like an ulterior motive in terms of like a little bit more biblical with, you know, Eve taking a bite out of the apple and wanting to be free, I believe were some of the lyrics as well. So I feel like they tied that in beautifully. I really, really enjoyed that. This music video was amazing. Probably top 3 ITZY songs to date, in my opinion. And yeah, this was top 5. I don't know, because Cake was incredible, and I'm not ready to put this one over Cake, but the high note, the intro to that chorus is just so incredibly powerful and is so demanding. Like, I can't imagine, like, I can only imagine how epic and chilling it would sound for them to perform this live. I'm really looking forward for that possibility. So this was incredible. The girls did a phenomenal job, and I really, really love this one. If I made any sense, let me know in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this reaction, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day. See you.